first requested to me by Jabriel Baptise and written and directed by Oriol Paulo, the 2016 Spanish thriller The Invisible Guest takes place in Spain, where a successful businessman named Adrien Dorier wakes up in a hotel room to find his lover murdered. The police view Adrien as their primary suspect, and due to this, Adrien hires a lawyer to protect himself. As he speaks with his lawyer, the two begin retracing Adrien's steps in an attempt to better understand what happened and hopefully convince a jury that he's innocent. As Adrien attempts to explain what happened in the events leading up to the murder, things get more and more twisted. So yet again, we have another request here that I hadn't heard of before. And a lot of times with these movies that I've never heard of before, I'll do a quick Google search to see just kind of what I'm getting myself into. Usually I'll just kind of look at the brief plot description and then go from there and then watch the movie as a whole. But I bring that up because with this one, I think honestly the less you know the better. This is one hell of a thrill ride, and this story has so many twists and turns that it would probably make M. Night Shyamalan jealous. This isn't to say the film forces anything though. It instead does an excellent job at slowly revealing key details of the murder mystery to the audience, to you the audience member, by naturally introducing them to new players and key events within the story. There's a small handful of key events and key players weaved into this story, and it's all done so in an extremely cohesive way. The story mixes linear progression with non-linear progression by showing you the events that are happening in current time with Adrien and his lawyer, and then also going back by having Adrien explain what happened the night of, and of course the nights prior to his lover's murder. By recapping the events of the days prior, we get to look at things from not only the perspective of Adrien, but also from the perspective of his lover Laura, as well as other important players and characters. This is where the true murder mystery factor comes into play, because the audience doesn't know what's true and what isn't. And we're seeing how the important players in the film are telling their story about their side about what happened. And it's really excellent in that way. The film is gripping from basically start to finish because it's well paced and it's so twisty-turny, for lack of a better term, that it'll just keep you on the edge of your seat. This is a true thriller, but I'd say it's more gripping than suspenseful. But that isn't to say it doesn't have suspense too, it does. It's just gripping because as the story unfolds, you really aren't sure who to trust. There's times when the main character Adrien comes across like a sympathetic victim, and there's other times where he comes across as something far more nefarious. And the film does an excellent job casting just enough doubt on his intentions, and other characters' intentions too, to lead you to not truly trust any of them. And that's part of the point. It's gripping because you're slipped little details here and there until eventually bigger details start being slowly revealed in a way that's very likely to just keep you in suspense. Another reason the film works as well as it does is because of the performances. I definitely felt a sense of cohesion from the cast, and I felt like everyone played their part just ambiguously enough to add a lot of mystery and intrigue to their character. Each character has a role to play in the bigger picture, and it felt to me that they each serve a very specific purpose within the context of the murder mystery. And it really helps that each performance brought a lot of dynamism to the story by showing the light and dark sides to each of the key characters. It also helps that the cinematography is beautiful. There's a lot of shots of these wide, beautiful landscapes that give us a strong sense of atmosphere where the important events in the story take place, and more importantly, the lighting techniques, framing of shots, and the color palette allow for some seriously dark themes to be communicated to the viewer visually. This is important because it aids the immersion process. It helps you sink yourself into the dark story because the themes are relayed to the viewer through the visuals, which can help you feel like you're right there with them. I thought this was one of the better shot films I've reviewed thus far from requests. It was really a stunning film to look at. There's one more important element to discuss here, and that's the music. Fernando Vallquez, who's mostly known for his work on Crimson Peak and A Monster Calls, among other things, created an excellently eerie score here. There's this really dark and brooding score with a very ominous tone to it that plays a very immersive part in the nature of the story itself. It creeps into scenes and makes you feel like you're about to learn something terrible about the characters. And whenever you think you know what's going on, the movie takes a sharp left turn, and the music really does parallel those gripping and uncertain tendencies quite effectively. But let's take a look at the pros and cons as we wrap things up. As for the pros, I thought The Invisible Guest delivered a gripping and immersive thriller story, very strong and highly individualized performances from the cast, beautiful cinematography, and some awesome music. As for the cons, honestly, I don't think there are any. I'm going to give The Invisible Guest a 10 out of 10 and definitely recommend you check this one out on Netflix if you're looking for a gripping thriller film. Keep in mind that this is a Spanish film, so there's subtitles for us Americans here. But if you don't mind that, this is definitely a great choice. So have you guys seen The Invisible Guest before? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. And also let me know your favorite movie on Netflix. I'll have to think about that, honestly. Either way, this is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.